Hello guys, welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for watching. I'm here today with my Japan haul, which I wanted to just start with like a very quick overview and a reflection on the whole experience of travelling alone to Japan. That was so northern. I've written a blog post which I'll link in the description box, which maybe will say things a little bit more concisely than I'm about to now, but overall it was one of the best decisions I've ever made to do a trip on my own. I think Japan is a great place to do it because I didn't feel unsafe for a moment as a woman travelling on my own. There was, if you watch the vlogs, there was only one instance of something that I didn't feel comfortable doing alone, but the rest of it, generally the culture there really lends itself to doing things on your own. Like eating on your own doesn't feel intimidating there. There's lots of people eating on their own. Even some of the places where you go and have ramen, especially in particular, are specifically designed to sit in a little booth on your own. So in terms of the places in the world to go, it felt really well equipped for travelling on your own and it not feeling something that was uncomfortable or something that people would even notice. Like, I think that would be something I worry that people would notice I was on my own and that in turn would make me feel vulnerable and less safe. But it wasn't even something that anyone seemed to bat an eyelid to. And the whole experience was just so liberating, choosing. I did sometimes struggle with how much decision making comes down to me, because obviously normally when you're with someone you would have someone else's input or just someone to have a conversation with about the plan of a day, and having that solely on your shoulders is simultaneously very liberating and overwhelming at times, especially when you're jet lagged, and like that was the only really downside to it because my decision making was so compromised by how tired I was. But there is something really liberating about just doing everything at your own pace and every day deciding what I felt like doing. Did I want to go and see loads of Tokyo and walk lots? Did I want to sit and focus on reading my book and making that a memory of, you know, reading a book that was set in Japan? I read Murakami's Norwegian Wood when I was there. While being in Tokyo, like, that was something I really wanted to do. And that as an experience felt something that was quite singular to being on your own, where you couldn't necessarily just drag someone around and read a book all day unless they wanted to do the exact same thing. So it is hugely liberating. It's very empowering, and I felt really just proud of myself for having done something that felt really far out of my comfort zone, but actually wasn't as much of a shock in that sense as I maybe thought it might be. It really did feel incredibly manageable. The one thing I would say is be really realistic about how much you like spending time on your own. Some people get their batteries charged up by being with people because they're so extroverted. I'm definitely more introverted. Like, that to me, it expends energy being social, and then I regain it all being on my own. So I knew that I was quite well equipped for spending a week on my own. But only you can answer that for you, how much you genuinely know you're comfortable spending time on your own. That being said, it wasn't, because I can do like a weekend on my own in London, but then I'd be itching to see people and itching for company, and that moment didn't really come when I was in Japan. And I think it is also because you're so stimulated, because you're somewhere so new, that it's not like you're doing things in your day-to-day life on your own, which have obviously much more of a mundane factor to them. It was so just stimulating, so there wasn't as much of space left for me to want to be sharing it with somebody else. I would also add that for me, like, vlogging and taking pictures for my blog gave purpose to the trip, so I really recommend maybe doing that, even if you don't do it for a job. I'm not saying vlog, but take a camera and take pictures. Just use your iPhone. Like, they're honestly some of the best cameras nowadays. Something like, make a project out of it, even if it's like you want to write 500 words a day in your diary, or make sure you're reading a book every day, not every day, book of the week while you're there, or more than one book, or whatever. Just something that gives some purpose. I found gave structure to it, because for me, I'd be like, I want to go back to that area because I want to take some more pictures of that, and I'm not sure I have the photos that I want yet. And it just gave a bit of structure where there was no structure, because I was doing my own thing the whole time. Specifically in terms of Japan, in terms of money, my flights were £900, my hotel was £800, which is bed and breakfast. I found having breakfast included extremely helpful, because especially when you're waking up at the crack of dawn. It's really nice to know you can just go downstairs and have a coffee and not have to pay however much it would have been a day, and just to know your first meal of the day is accounted for. I found that so helpful, because that was when I was feeling worst in the day, when I was waking up and I was like, oh my god. So that was really helpful. And the hotel that I was staying in was a 3-star hotel, and I thought that was a reasonable price for that sort of a hotel. Taxis are really expensive. Don't get taxis unless you have to. And again, that's kind of harder when you are so jet lagged and feel so ill, because it's about small things like getting on the trains, which were really easy to navigate, the metro system. I'm not sure if it's called a metro or a subway there, but it was really easy to navigate, but it wasn't necessarily quicker than getting a car. I don't think any of the routes I took were actually quicker than taking a car. And then when you're really tired and feel really ill, that's when you're like, just put me in a car and get me home. So don't do that, because the taxis are very expensive. Eating there wasn't expensive. I didn't find that to be too expensive. I mean, I had some expensive meals, a couple, but if only when I knew I was going to somewhere expensive. Like one was at the Park Hyatt as well, so it was a Western meal. I think in terms of what I spent, I think I spent, like I said, £800 on the hotel, 900, and then just on day-to-day stuff, probably another 800, so a little over 100 a day. Which I would normally budget for roughly £100 a day when I'm doing a big city break, of knowing that you are paying for at least 2 meals a day, paying to get around the city, and that would be for like coffees. That was basically the cash that I spent. And within that though, I did also buy some of the things I'm going to show you here. With that cash, there was quite a lot of this that was absorbed into that. So you could definitely do it for a hell of a lot less, because I have lots of stationery here to show you, which I didn't need to buy. But yeah, it was just an incredible experience, and I would definitely travel alone again. I would love to travel alone again to somewhere that is also very culturally different, like Japan was. I would love to go back to Japan and spend more time in Kyoto, especially. A week wasn't long enough in terms of getting everything in that I want to do. Like, it's not even long enough to do Tokyo, a week, but I didn't dare book for longer, and I don't know that actually I would want to have stayed for longer on my own. So I think I'm glad that I just did the week. I was ready to sort of come back home at the time and have my own home comforts again, but also in terms of the jet lag, a week wasn't long enough for me to feel okay. Like, it was the last day and a half that I felt okay, whereas the rest of it, I did have days where I really struggled. It was just the worst jet lag I've ever had, basically. If there's any other specific questions, please ask me in the comments and I will reply to them all individually, but I think I'm covering all of the main things that I asked. If you were going to make a decision to do something like this, you could always do like a test run of going out for dinner on your own in your hometown, which is something I do anyway in London, but I would say that Japan in particular is geared up for that, for eating alone, more so than any other city I've been to feels like it is. It doesn't feel like an awkward thing to do at all. And yeah, let me show you some of the things that I bought. I basically was like obsessed with everything and anything Japanese. I bought some clothes, all which were from Japanese brands. I didn't plan on buying clothes at all, and then was just mooching around. And I found I shopped probably more than I wanted to, but then I think that's relatively normal because I was walking a lot. I was trying to like see so much of the city on foot that you do just tend to get distracted and be like, oh, I'm just going to that shop, it looks really nice. And there was so much shopping in Tokyo, it was crazy. There was just shops everywhere. I mean, like any major city, of course, but it is, I would hope, relatively normal to end up shopping and mooching around and doing things like that. I made the decision, I went to 2 galleries. I went to the Team Lab Borderless and I went to the Kusama gallery, which I wouldn't really recommend actually. But I was going to do a lot more. It was on my list to do a lot more, but ultimately decided not to because I wanted to spend more time on the streets, walking around, going to different coffee shops, just being on the streets of Tokyo as opposed to being inside an art gallery. That was the decision I made with regards to that at the end. I know if there's a specific exhibition you wanted to see, then that would be a really different decision because it would be more specialised to being there, but there wasn't really anything, and there wasn't any specific pieces of art that I knew any of the galleries had that I wanted to see. So yeah, I ended up not doing as much of that as I thought I might, just because I wanted to be out and about. and that did result in some shopping. So let's start with the big purchase, which was the thing I bought on the first day, and it was the only thing I knew I wanted to get, which was a new film camera. I'll talk about it quite briefly because I did talk about it in quite some length in one of the vlogs, but it's the Mamiya 7. It's a medium format camera, and the reason I wanted this specific one is because it's small enough to be able to carry on your body through the day. It's pretty heavy, so like it does start to really hurt your back after a while, but you can just have it on your shoulder throughout the day and shoot as you go. I'm going to put some of the photos that I've got from this camera in here because they have turned out so beautiful. The detail this captures is above and beyond 35mm. It's insane. Like, I can't quite believe how beautiful the detailing is. And this was obviously something I wanted to go and get on the first day so that I had it for the whole trip to take pictures on. Every single picture came out. There wasn't any that were huge out of focus. It's a rangefinder camera, and the focusing is quite fiddly because you have to match up a ghost image over the actual image using the focus ring. So it's kind of fiddly, and I was really worried that I was really messing it up. But thankfully I haven't, and I'm so pleased with it, and I'm so excited to shoot, even just go out and shoot things in London on it. Yeah, really pleased I got this, and I just have got the 65mm lens on it. You can get different lenses. I wouldn't mind maybe getting the 95mm lens to have something that's a bit more cropped in. But yeah, I bought this from a place called Film Camera Tokyo, which was in Harajuku. It was cheaper than it is to buy in London, but then other things they had were not cheaper, like the Contax G2 flash in particular, which is so random, and a certain lens that for the Contax G2 you could get for cheaper on eBay. So I don't think it's a particularly cheap camera shop to say that. I think you can find some really affordable ones in Tokyo, but this was cheaper than it would have been in London. But yeah, it's a pretty pricey camera, so it's kind of one to invest in when you know you are addicted to film photography, basically, which I am. So that was the main thing, and then I wasn't planning on shopping anymore, and it just went downhill. I bought, let me show you this because it's beautiful. This is something that I bought in Kyoto. I can't remember the name of the ceramics shop, so I'll write it on the screen. It was just really hard to find, actually. It was like inside this building up all these stairs. Just this beautiful shop with all these gorgeous ceramics in, and I bought this plate, which I won't eat off. It will be a display plate only. And it's just, I love the colour on it. I love the way it's been glazed and all of the texture running through it. It's so, just so beautiful. I also got Mum a little gift for Christmas from this shop. And I just thought it would be such a nice thing to have in my home, this display plate, which everybody needs a display plate, obviously. So that was from Kyoto. Oh god, I bought these back in bulk to take home to Mum. These chocolate almonds were like crack to me when I was there. I could not stop eating these. They were so good. Also at this point, Mum, stop watching, because some of the things that I'm about to show you are some of your Christmas presents. So Mum, go away from this video, please. You can watch it after Christmas Day. But yeah, right, let's give her a chance to leave. Bye. So I bought a book. I've got myself one of these as well for the coffee table, and also one for Mum. It's a book about cats. 365 Romantic Cat Days is the only bit of English on the front of this. And the reason I got it was, firstly, I didn't know this, maybe this is huge ignorance, that Japanese books open the wrong way around. They're not, it's not the right and wrong, but the wrong way around to us. So it reads kind of backwards. So I really then wanted to buy a book from Japan for that reason. I thought it was really nice. And everything about it, like, there's the aesthetic of so much, and so many things is beautiful. So yeah, this is just a book with lots of different pictures of cats in it. The paper it's on is beautiful, which I hope you might be able to see a little bit more. Oh, sorry guys, the camera died. I know I was talking about the cat book. Yes, it's a bit of a sort of pointless gift, I suppose, because I mean, it's mostly photos, so I don't think there's a huge plot running through the book of 365 Romantic Cat Days. But it's just beautiful, like, so beautiful inside. So one for me, one for Mum, for Mum's Christmas present. And now let's talk about stationery. I bought a huge amount of stationery. I basically lost my mind in every shop that I went in that had stationery. The one that blew me away the most was called Sakado. It was in Shinjuku. And I think I've only just recovered from the whole experience. So I bought a lot for Linz. Linz really likes notebooks and stationery, and she also, like I said in it, writes. Like, you've never seen somebody write in the way that Lindsay writes. She seems to write like 3 words to a page, so she gets through a lot of notebooks. I also bought this little one from Mum, which is just like a tiny little flip one because she uses stuff like this for her shopping lists. She always got one of these knocking around the kitchen table, and it's got a lovely perforated edge to take off your list with you and go to Waitrose. So I got her one of those. I'm not sure how she'll feel about the fact it's a grid, if I'm honest. She probably would have preferred a lined situation. Alas. So that, I need to make a pile here so I can remember what I've talked about. So I've got that. I actually have forgotten whose everything's for. This can be for Lindsay. Or maybe this one I got for me. No, I think I got this one for Lindsay. Yeah, because well, it's very faintly lined, but it's mostly blank, and she does like a nice blank page, and this is what it looks like at the front, and it's just got like a nice textured cover underneath that plastic wrapping, and it's very nice inside. It's not very big. Maybe I bought this one for me. I can't remember who I had in mind for this one. Maybe Mum? I think Lindsay. So that was another notebook. And then this one I really liked. It's just like a refill pad. Oh, this is so ridiculous. It's an A5 refill pad, but I thought this would be something that I could write on and scan some of the things for my blog. Like sometimes I do handwritten blog posts where it's scanned, and that this was quite aesthetically pleasing, and it's just got lovely, like, I like the slight blue lines at the top where it says like date and everything up here at the top of the page. And yeah, that's obviously me trying to justify the fact I bought a refill pad when I was in Japan. But I promise I'll use it. Like, at some point you'll see this on the blog and you'll go, you know, goodbye. That was. And then these two, one of these is definitely for Lindsay. I got her the thicker one for the reasons I've just mentioned. And I know she does quite like jotter kind of paper. And this is just like a very classic school notebook. And it even says campus on the front, and then I got myself one that's slightly thinner because I have the opposite problem where I never finish notebooks because I write in them too small and put too much on a page. And then buying another notebook before I finished the initial notebook, and then nothing gets finished and I never learn. So 2 of those. And then some pens from Sakado. These are all for Lindsay. The ones I got myself were these, like, they're kind of like a biro in red and blue, again to write things, to scan on blog posts. It's very lovely. I'm pretty sure you can get those in WH Smith's in London, if I'm honest. And then in here is a small selection of pens. These, I got myself there's my black and the blue one of that. And then these ones are for Lindsay, who likes a thicker rollerball. I think I know what kind of pen she likes better than she even knows. She likes a thicker rollerball or more like a thin felt tip. So that's that. I think this is not probably as interesting as you may have all imagined this Japan haul might have been. It's just pens. There's more pens in here from Muji. I won't make you sit through it. And there's some more pens here too. Which I got one again for me. This says on it, this is a pen, which clarifies things for me because I wasn't sure until I read that bit, but now I know. So I got one for me and one for Lindsay, and then another one of these for Lindsay. I'm seeing her later. I hope she's got room in a suitcase because she's got a lot to take back with her. Also for Lindsay, I just went wild. It's because I know how much she loves stationery, and so honestly, like, the stationery in Japan is so beautiful. This is really nice. This is like a little pad to have on your desk where you could really easily rip away each page. So definitely geared up towards writing to-do lists. I prefer to write like a to-do list in a notepad where I then like have it. I don't like anything that's just disposable, but I know that Lynn's would, so that. And then another notebook, which is from the same brand, which is from a beautiful shop that was just near Shibuya, which is also where I got the cat book from. It had so many nice things. Just this gorgeous plain grey notebook with plain paper inside. Really simple, really lovely. Oh, I've got 2 more stationery things. So these 2 things were for me. I got myself a 2020 diary, which is beautiful. I'm so pleased with it. So it's this small little A5 diary. and then it has a whole page for each day of the year. So I will like write to-do lists in here. I do use my iPhone mostly for a diary, but it's quite nice to have a paper one on the go. And this is just handbag sized. It also has a month view at the beginning and lovely little quotes on each day. So let's just pick a day. I want my last words to be, this is the 2nd of March. Ah, that was fun, but I'm not used to saying that. Maybe it won't come easily. When you're on your deathbed, I don't think you say something that recently popped into your mind. That was a quote from Jun Miura, who's an illustrator. Another one, what is talent? It's the courage to be able to turn your thoughts into reality. With courage you can do anything. That's more profound, that's more what I was expecting. If you cut corners, simply rely on what you have or follow what you did in the past, you might reach a certain level of quality very quickly. But that is simply the result of repetition. How can I describe the awful feeling one gets from doing things that way? Creating art should be something that's out of control, but I had tamed it, cheated and cheapened it. Ooh, these are good. So anyway, this beautiful little diary, which I'm so pleased with. And then I often spend, so I'm not a naturally tidy or organised person, and much of my life is spent willing myself to be that sort of a person, and often spending money to try and become the person that I'm not, by buying things that will help me be organised that invariably I never use. So this is why I have this little pouch. So it's got a little section at the back to keep my receipts in and things for my accounting, is the plan. And then a front section which I was just going to have like a lip balm in. Oh, I've got a lip balm to show you actually. A lip balm in that I like, and a lip balm, my AirPods, like the things that I always have in my handbag, even if I'm changing my handbag, so I can just pick this up and put it in a new handbag rather than go into the handbag, scoop everything out, pick through the tissues, pick through the wrappers, think to myself, I'm so disgusting, I'm so gross, why am I like this? But that I won't be like this anymore. I'm really a new woman now, and it's going to be amazing. The beginning is a big change, as I'd say. So this is probably the best money I've ever spent because of that, because it's going to make me a new person. I've yet to use it. I haven't found the time to begin being a new person yet, because, and I'm not putting it off, but I know it's going to be a big deal when it happens, so the time's got to be right. Maybe in the new year will be a good time. So that was enough stationery. You can all breathe a sigh of relief. The clothes, and then I'll talk about that lip balm that I just mentioned. So I got 3 things. All of the things are from shops in Daikanyama, I literally say it wrong every single time, and Nakamaguro. There was one shop which was beautiful, it was called Life's, but the brand that they stock is called, I've still got the tag on it even though I've worn it, Todayful. And I bought 2 jumpers in there, and they just had so many beautiful things. They had some ceramics and jewellery, and I got this sleeveless knit. Oh my gosh, sorry, so many of you commented saying you should wear that with a shirt underneath, and that I wore it like that yesterday, the other day, and loved how it looked. Just with a big white shirt with the collar and the big sleeves. I think it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. It's a bit of an acquired taste, but I personally really like it, and I think there is, if I'm honest, a good chance I'll look back on it in like 6 months time and be like, why did I buy that? But when I buy it, I feel like Giles off Buffy. When I wear it, I feel like Giles off Buffy, which is quite nice. And yeah, that was the one jumper. And the other one, which I'm actually going to wear today once I've taken off this sweatshirt, was this beautiful high neck wool one, which is just so much more classic, and I know I love and wear forever. And this kind of style is something that I always, like, I follow lots of Japanese girls on Instagram for their style, and it's so many like beautifully cut wool coats and jumpers with the perfect high neck that just stands in a certain way. This is one of those jumpers, so I'm really pleased to have found it in a very nice oatmeal colour, and yeah, a really just easy piece to wear, so I'm going to wear that today. And then a coat, a long black coat. Shockingly, I don't have a long black wool coat in my wardrobe. I know I'm really like clutching the, scraping the barrel there, because I have a navy one and a short black wool coat, so it's not filling much of a void. But I just saw it and it's so beautiful. I really like the fact it's got no lapel on it, so it's kind of like my totem cropped cardigan, crop jacket, the one that looks a bit like a cardigan, that I wear a lot with just the no lapels on it, and it's so simple. and it's just got the most amazing shape and hangs on the body beautifully. I feel really chic when I'm wearing it and really grown up, and just like it would be a good coat for evenings. And I've been really enjoying it, wrapping it over me and then wearing like a crossbody bag that holds it together. Just grab my boobs then in quite an aggressive way. And then with like a black scarf, it looks so nice and feels so easy and chic to throw on. So yeah, I'm really pleased I got it. This was from a brand called Plage. I'll link the Instagrams of the brands and the websites if they have them in the description box, but I found them all on Instagram anyway, so at the very least I'll link that. Let me go find the lip balm and then that's it. Right guys, I'm back. So at the top of having jet lag when I was away, I also was ill. And I went to one of like the 7-Elevens and things in Tokyo were unreal. It wasn't a 7-Eleven, it was called Family Mart, I think, to try and get some medicine. Anyway, it took me a few attempts to get the right thing. But while I was there, naturally I got distracted and I ended up buying lip balm. It's by Nivea, which obviously is a brand you just simply can't get in the UK. So I needed it, that was a joke. No, I just ended up grabbing this one initially, which was the honey flavoured one, and then was using it obsessively, and they're so good. Like, they really do keep your lips moisturised. I wasn't using it obsessively because my lips were constantly dry. I was using it because I became obsessed with using it. So then I went back and got a couple more. An unscented one, which is quite boring. I should have just got another honey one. I don't know what I was thinking. And then this one, which I haven't opened yet, vanilla and macadamia flavour. This is what the packaging looked like. You all could probably tell me I could have got this in Boots in Shoreditch, but if that is the case, don't tell me. And I'm going to start putting together a little pouch, putting the honey one in because it's my favourite, into the pouch. There we go. Beginnings of a new woman. Just need to find my AirPods next, which I've actually broken, which is so annoying. And then I'm going to pop this in my handbag and just you wait. Anyway, I hope you've all enjoyed that. It would be well within your rights to say no, I haven't enjoyed. You showed me however many notebooks and however many pens. But yes, that was what I bought while I was in Japan. The camera obviously being the really big thing because it was super pricey. And then I also got some other gifts for Mum for Christmas, but which I haven't included in this because I don't fully trust her not to watch it, if I'm honest. So I didn't want to put the big things in, but she knows about the cat book probably now, and the little notebook, but that's okay. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.